So the scorecard is a project which we've been running through the European Council on Foreign Relations now for 6 years. It's an attempt to assess the effectiveness of European Union foreign policy against its own objectives. So it looks across 6 different chapters which focus on different regions of strategic importance to the EU, looks at 66 different components and assesses each of those policy areas on the basis of resources, how much financial and political resource was put into it, unity, the extent to which member states and institutions were agreed on a policy and how to move it forward, and then strategy and impact. Was the policy well designed and what difference did it make on the ground? And within the process, we also look at the role that different member states played within that and look on the key foreign policy questions of the year, the extent to which different member states acted as leaders, supporters or slackers on different dossiers. So the 2 high points for Europe over 2015 were undoubtedly the unity around Russia policy, which I think was quite remarkable in 2015. Clearly the sanctions policy was agreed in 2014, but that was in a year in which Russia was the major challenge for the EU. In 2015, Europe faced a whole range of different challenges, from the refugee crisis, the Eurozone crisis, and discussions with Greece in the first half of the year. And Russia was sort of one among these challenges, but still the unity held strong. Whether or not that will be the case in 2016 remains to be seen, but I think that was quite significant for Europe in 2015. The second big success story was the Iran deal, where we saw Europe at its best in terms of it playing a diplomatic role, which was really quite effective in terms of brokering agreement on the international stage. What was disappointing was that experience wasn't also transferred to other conflicts such as Syria, where we didn't see Europeans playing such an active role in 2015. The worst performing areas that we highlighted in the scorecard this year were firstly regional security in the Middle East and North Africa region, which is quite significant in a year in which Europe saw the refugee crisis come home to roost, and the interplay between terrorist attacks at home in Europe and European activities within this region called into question. The fact that there was no coherent strategic response to that, I think, is quite a problem for Europe. And then the second area that we highlighted in terms of opportunities missed for Europe in 2015 was working with Turkey on human rights, democracy and rule of law questions. We really saw in 2015 that the boot had shifted onto the other foot in terms of the EU-Turkey relationship, with the EU really in the role of demandeur and Turkey being able to call the shots in terms of what it was willing to offer on cooperation on the refugee crisis. And so we saw the EU strike quite a significant deal with Turkey without any mention of the significant backsliding going on the human rights situation in Turkey.